really new era maiden. Yes, I'm continuing on with my journey of discovery, occasionally dipping my toe into the classic era stuff with unheard recordings like that To Tame a Land reaction that I did recently. But of course, it's the new era maiden stuff that I really have to catch up with, right? But today we're travelling all the way forward to Maiden's 17th studio album. It was released in 2021 and it was called Senjitsu. Okay, so yeah, more than 20 years after the first New Era Maiden album, Brave New World, came out. And the track that has been specifically requested for is called The Parchment. Yeah. Come on, even the title, it kind of suggests something, right? The Parchment. Yeah, and apparently, as in true Maiden style, it's considered an epic. And it has some historical context. Okay. And I guess it should be of no surprise that the composer of this particular track was a certain Mr. Steve Harris. Now, apparently the song is based on Mithridates VI, who was a Hellenistic king who ruled the kingdom of Pontus between 120 and 63 BC. Okay. Yeah, it's Maiden, and it's a song about ancient history. And I've got my Dave Murray radar on. So, right, let's get bloody started, shall we? Okay. Classical guitar. Ooh. I can already hear some Eastern promise. A synth layer adds some depth. I wonder what classical guitar they're using actually. Oh, here it is. Those keys. The use of the synth kind of similar to what they did, I remember, with Seventh Son. Hey. Oh, nice. I like that. That kind of double riff.
When the moon will rise again until we reach the parted skin. Broken fears, warning days are here again. For we all to dust descend. Heaven knows when life will end.
Guitar shadowing Bruce's voice, huh? That tempo, like an epic slow march, right?
Sweet revenge will be ours, vengeance of a shaken world. Just remember that patience is no sin, and to find a
man. Oh, I like this guitar melody. And the tempo is just marching on behind it, right? Is that 3 lead guitars playing? I can't figure it out. Or maybe because the synth is a layer in there as well. Just subtle changes in the melody, but with that constant tempo. Oh yeah! Love it. That was Davey. I'm sure that was Dave. I love this Middle East signature sound. It's effective with the synth as well. The rhythm guitar is kind of doubled up its tempo, right?
Inner tempers never shaken, edge of doom is not mistaken, countenance is not a sin, gallant king without him, fierce as wolf with a leopard skin, dark and bitter deep within. Punished with his life, vanquished.
Whereas before it was shadowing Bruce's voice, it's higher register now, the guitar.
Intoxicated with the hell, mad immortal sickness dwells at its beasts. Troops engage, assembled here to butcher blades. Smoke has darkened in the air, smell of death and deep despair. Wilderness, a tyrant dream. Sell your soul, not give them power. Slay upon the imperial crown. Witness now the witching hour. Bound himself to oath and king. Such loyalty, a strenuous thing. Youth of agony still.
Vocal layers. It's Bruce's voice, of course. I don't think it's the other guys. It's Bruce's voice.
From your cup of wisdom true. Many men will follow you. Now on all these ways, our gods, they
Another melody change.
Give us our revenge. With the power he learned, we will burn the same again. A betrayal of angels in a foreign land. A revenge for the merciful destiny at hand. Follow those who have written.
And that tempo is still there, huh?
That the same will happen, searching for gold. Like a fire in the sky, I can feel strength return. Heading for
We're gonna have to check the lyrics after this. Okay, it's quickening a touch. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely quickening a little bit. Maybe building to a climatic end? I don't know. Oh yeah! Oh, there's got to be another solo in this. You can kind of sense it, right? Yeah, it's picking up now. Are we going to have 3 solos in this part? You know, I get excited about 3 solos. This is number 2. I don't think they're going to have 3 now. They've moved it along. It's another melody change. But that's 3 guitars on the melody, yeah? And it finishes in a mysterious cloud of Eastern promise. Sort of how it began, really, with the slow classical mood maker, if you know what I mean. Whoa, that's I say it was a complex song. There were a lot of melody changes, but despite that, the tempo was pretty consistent throughout the whole thing up until there was just that quickening closer to the end, right? And it was like, I mean, we will cover the text, but I know the background. It's about an ancient kingdom, but it had that kind of marching army tempo pretty much the whole way through. I think we have to check the lyrics. Because to tell you the truth, I'm not really clued up on this specific historical figure, so it's interesting. So let's bring up the text. Let's see what it's all about. Hang on a sec. Okay, here we go. When the moon will rise again until we read the Parthian skin. Broken fears, warning days are here again. For we all to dust descend. Heaven knows when life will end. God to know in the mire. Put out the fire. When the moon will rise again until we read the Parthian skin. Parthian skin. Parthian. Parthian, I know. Parthian is something to do with Persia, right? Yeah. So we're talking about the kingdom of Pontus. Now, Pontus did gradually expand over what we call modern-day Turkey. That was its height. Okay, but that whole area prior to the kingdom of Pontus was part of the Empire of Persia. I think like 400 BC, something like that. And there was the famous Persian emperor, Darius the Great. So the people of that region obviously had Persian roots. Okay? So although Pontus is a Hellenistic empire, which Hellenistic is, of course, ancient Greece, like a general term for ancient Greece. Okay, so there is something I found which I suppose backs that theory up. And it's believed that Mithridates was of mixed Persian and Greek ancestry. So that's where the Parthian skin, I suppose, comes in. And I think the "for we all to dust descend, heaven knows when life will end" is kind of playing with the notion you never know how long an empire will last, I suppose. I think that's the kind of the gist of that. Okay. Know there is a cross to bear in your primal quest of fear. No quarter now is given, no less. A slumber was my main ideal. Asunder did my spirit steal. Sceptred race uttered words in disgrace. Now there is a cross to bear in your primal quest of fear. This is Steve Harris getting quite heavy with lyrics here, isn't he? Especially where a slumber was my main ideal. A slumber. A slumber is like sleepy, right? Does that mean a sleepy, peaceful life? So that's his main ideal. Asunder did my spirit steal. Asunder. What's asunder? I have to check what asunder means. Sorry. 1 second. Hang on. Asunder. Asunder, 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 asunder. Okay. Asunder means fragmented. Fragmented did my spirit steal. Okay. Sceptred race uttered words in disgrace. Sceptred race. Scepter. A scepter is like a scepter, right? We know what a scepter is. Sceptred. A sceptred race. It's an object of authority, right? Or power, like it's used in churches, in religion. A scepter. It's a symbol. Power. Often seen with royalty, yeah? Crown and scepter. A sceptred race. So that's referring to a particular type of people or authority or religion of high standing. We'll move on. Maybe it becomes clearer. Sweet revenge will be ours. Vengeance of a shaken world. Just remember that patience is no sin. And to find another way, live to breathe another day. Lord of light in the darkness, our guide. Sweet revenge will be ours. 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 So somebody has pissed Mithridates off, right? Now, Mithridates was an ambitious ruler. And apparently he was keen to control Asia Minor, that whole region, right? Basically, what's modern-day Turkey, you know, near Armenia and all that area. Now, apparently, okay, this is what I found. Mithridates was one of the Roman Republic's fiercest opponents. Okay, the Roman Republic. So, the sceptered race, I think, are the Romans. Yeah. And before the kingdom of Pontus grew, there was also another ruler who was an ally of the Romans, and his name was Nicomedes IV, and he was the emperor of Bithynia, which is on the Black Sea coastline. Okay. And on the maps you see that the kingdom of Pontus actually covers that later. So, he's also maybe what this is referring to. Okay. I kind of think that's where we're going with this. But let's carry on. In a tempest never shaken, edge of doom is not mistaken. Countenance is not a sin. Gallant king, we bow to him. Fierce as wolf with the leopard skin, dark and bitter deep within. Invader punished with his life, vanquished in the morning. I mean, this is kind of stating his opposition to the Roman Republic, right? I think. Just remember that patience is no sin. So I think this is stating his opposition to the Roman Republic is not something that will happen overnight. It's kind of a long, drawn-out campaign. And countenance is not a sin. Gallant king, we bow to him. Countenance is not a sin. Gallant king. Countenance is like to give you support to something, right? And it's not a sin. Giving support. Supporting Mithridates? Or Nicomedes? But I mean, the whole invader punished with his life vanquished in the morning part, that's just referring to conflict, right? Sea of blood in light divine, unholy reverence enjoyed, intoxicated with their hell, man immortal, sickness dwell, savage beasts, troops engage, assembled here to butcher blades. Smoke has darkened in the air, smell of death and deep despair. I think Steve, again, is kind of giving poetic license, I think. Now, apparently there were three, they called it Mithridatic Wars, between Mithridates and the Roman Republic. And I think this is what the lyrics are putting across there. So in the first Mithridatic War, according to this, Nicomedes lost power to Mithridates and he ran to Rome for protection. So he got out of there. Then Rome sent Consul Lucius Cornelius Sulla east from Italy, or from Rome, to defeat Mithridates. And they beat Mithridates' army and then reinstated Nicomedes as the ruler of Bithynia. So it's all happening, right? There's a lot happening there. Okay. Wilderness, a tyrant dream. Sell your soul, not give them power. Slay upon imperial crown. Witness now the witching hour. Bound himself to oath and king. Such loyalty, a shameless thing. Youth of agony still burn. Shedding parents' blood. I think we should carry on. Never say a prayer to me for this crime and treachery. Drinking from your cup of wisdom true, many men will follow you. Now an army is raised, and our gods they be praised. Death is but a gilded edge, shall know more than we will pledge. Hear the cry, we are ready to believe. This is like a rallying call, I think. Mithridates is trying to stand up to the Roman Republic. The prodigal has returned. Give us our own revenge. With the power he learned, we will burn the same again. A betrayal of angels in a foreign land. A revenge for the merciful, destiny at hand. Okay, the prodigal has returned. Now, I did find this, and I think maybe this is referring to... Now, Nicomedes died in 74 BC. And because of his closeness to Rome, he bequeathed Bithynia to the Romans. So there was kind of a power vacuum, and Mithridates saw an opportunity to go back and reclaim Bithynia. So I think the prodigal has returned maybe is referring to him going back to take what he is assuming is his and trying to push the Romans west, I think. Oh, I did come across something. Okay, it has nothing to do with the text or the lyrics, but I thought it's a bit of ancient gossip. Ooh. Right, check this out, right? Hang on. Now, a certain young Julius Caesar, yes, the Julius Caesar, okay, now he lived in Bithynia as an ambassador to Rome when Nicomedes was still alive, okay? And it's alleged that Julius and Nicomedes were gay lovers. And apparently, in later life, when Julius Caesar was invading Gaul, his enemies would refer to him as the Queen of Bithynia. So there you go. Some ancient gossip. Anyway, back to the text. So Mithridates did go back up and reclaim Bithynia for himself. But not for that long, because the Romans, of course, it's the Roman Republic, right? They pushed back. And in 71 BC, defeated the kingdom of Pontus. So basically, not only did they reclaim Bithynia, they completely wiped out the kingdom of Pontus. Mithridates fled, and apparently he ended up north of the Black Sea in the winter of 66 BC. Now his initial response would be to sit low and rebuild an army. He wanted revenge on the Romans, and his plan was that he would go through Italy by way of the Danube. However, the local nobles and the population of the area north of the Black Sea didn't want anything to do with him. They weren't willing to do it. And basically, they rebelled against him. And it seems that for Mithridates, this was it. He'd had enough. And he allegedly attempted suicide by poison. But it failed, because he had immunity to whatever the substance he was taking. I don't know what it was. I didn't find any reference to what he was trying to take, but apparently he was immune to it. So according to Appian's Roman history, he then requested his Gallic, from Gaul, bodyguard, by the name of Bituitus, to kill him by stabbing him with his sword. So in other words, Mithridates had had enough. If he wasn't going to take revenge on the Romans, then That was it for him. So yeah, his Gallic bodyguard essentially killed him. And that was the end of him. And I suppose this kind of leads us to the final verse. For all those who have written in the sand will be told that the same will happen searching for gold. Like a fire in the sky, I can feel strength return. Heading for afterlife, meet me there. And that was the end of Mithridates. And again, I guess that final verse, Steve is being poetic in a way, right? That was interesting because I didn't really know too much about this moment in history and the character of Mithridates, and didn't know anything about Nicomedes. So that was cool. That was really cool. I mean, the song has a lot more poetic license, as I've already said a few times, which is in stark contrast to Alexander the Great, which of course is an earlier epic that Steve wrote. But that was very descriptive in terms of, you know, it was detailing what had happened in Alexander's life. But this is a little bit more, I wouldn't say vague, but he's just playing around with it. And I suppose you have to look into the historical detail to understand some of the verses because it's not that descriptive. But now, having checked a little bit about Mithridates and his story, now it's kind of, yeah, you can kind of relate with it now, right? How cool was that? Hey, come on. Iron Maiden, ancient history, that epic army marching tempo. And I'm sure there was even a Dave Murray solo in there. I'm sure that when I said that's Davey, I'm pretty certain that was him. But that was really good. And it was really new era Maiden. All right. Up the irons.